Yeah, for me, I would say number one thing is what are the priorities that we should have as Muslims? The priority should be that whatever we're doing, we are contributing positively to the environment in this world. Whatever we're doing is just as specified by Allah. Those should be our priorities. Then who are the people around you? In order to be happy, you have to make people around you happy. The family, the neighbors, the people in your workplace. We have a lot of people. You leave your house. Your spouse is not happy with you. Maybe from your salary, you're not taking care of your home. Then automatically, you have put yourself in an unbalanced life. You are not ever going to concentrate on your work. So for me, we should first of all set our priority right. In terms of work, in terms of living, what are the priorities? Then how do we ensure that those priorities are met? First, we do what Allah, our Creator, has said we should do. Second, the priority in terms of people that depend on you, not necessarily financial. They depend on you for knowledge. They depend on you for guidance. How well are you impacting their life? Because those are the things that's going to matter at the end of the day. If you're able to make all those things, all those people around you create happiness, make them achieve whatever they think they are looking up to you to achieve. At the end of the day, you will have been able to balance your life with the purpose for which we are created. That's my take on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Valuable, for sharing that. I agree that you have to take care of the people around you in order to have a balanced life. You have to make sure that everything around you is balanced, so that doesn't come and interfere with your work or things that you might need to focus on. So, Sister Aisha.
Okay, interesting question. So I typically tell people that work-life balance for me, it's a word that I call a cliche. And I read this book by Sheryl Sandberg called Leaning. And it's a very interesting book. It's interesting because it comes from a place of very authenticity. Not the lady is the current CEO of Facebook, and she's worked with big companies like Google and all of that. So, but when you read the book, it helps you relate to some of the things that you probably have gone through if you're at a certain stage of your career and your life. And so what I also say is, well, as we grow older and we enter different phases of our life, you realize that your priorities continue to change, because there's this continuous personal journey to finding purpose and inner contentment. So if I was to put work-life balance in a picture, I will put life on a box here, I'll put balance on another box, and then I will put a long box that stretches from the beginning to the end of both boxes and put what I call personal effectiveness. And those personal effectiveness are what you would call self-help actions that you actually use to coordinate that part of your life, both the life and trying to get a balance. And those self-help are actually either your routines or your rituals that you do on a daily basis to enhance your productivity and just the way you ensure that your life is lived in such a way that you can touch different things that matters to you. So what matters to you could be your family, it could be the people around you, it could be your community, it could be anything. It could be just even yourself. You just want to have time for yourself. It could be anything. So when you look at routines, your routines are like your everyday thing that will get you going. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you take your bath, you move on. But the rituals are the very deepest one that actually makes they make the difference. They are those symbolic actions that you intentionally put in place every day to ensure that you are taking care of those things that matter to you. And so I've talked about routine, waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth, but your ritual, praying your Fajr will make a difference for you that day. you must ensure that you pray your Fajr. If you don't pray it, you probably find yourself uneasy throughout the day. You probably find out that things don't work the way you should do. Maybe at 7 o'clock, you are intentional about spending time with your family. By 7 o'clock after Maghrib, we want to sit as a family, discuss how our day was, discuss this, discuss. That is a ritual. You are very intentional about keeping that. Every Saturday morning, I want to spend time with the community. I want to listen to how I can help them. Those are key rituals. So just to put it again in a box, life balance, your personal effectiveness, drill it down to your self-help actions, drill it down to those routines, and drill it down to the rituals that will make that difference. Those are the symbolic actions that will help you stay true intentionally to take care of those things that matter to you. So that is the way I would look at work-life balance. It's a very dicey situation.
Thank you so much. But I have a question. This is my personal question. Sorry. I'm just following up on what you said. You said to have life here, have work here, and then have a long box that has the activities that you do to basically keep the balance between both of them. But I just wanted to ask, but sometimes don't you feel that it is almost impossible to balance everything in your life? For example, when you said you took time off to do your MBA. So there might have been, I don't know what it was for you, but there might have been a period in time because you were really focusing on something else wasn't really getting the attention you'd have liked to give it. For example, in your career, maybe at the beginning stages of your career where you're trying to develop yourself and maybe you don't have as much time to maybe take care of your physical health, like go to the gym like you would like to, or maybe you are working so hard that you are not always home at 5 for your children like you would like to. Do you understand what I'm saying? So is there really a balance per se all the time?
So, I started with saying that work-life balance or life balance, it sounds like a cliche to me.
Yeah.
Exactly. So sometimes I would start by saying that I tell people that stress is not a badge of honor. The fact that you decide to be a superhero doesn't mean that you're the best thing that has happened to anybody. So when I say that from the point of the fact that if you need to leverage your support system, you should go out of your way to find a strong support system. I think what has worked in my own situation is that I have a husband who is very hands-on and very supportive. And so a lot of times when I'm getting through something, he's always there to fill in the gap for others. I know that sometimes when I get to my daughter's school now, they say, oh, we're seeing mommy today. What happened? Where is daddy? Mm-hmm. Sometimes in the hospital. But it doesn't mean that I'm not in her life in one way. A lot of times by weekend, we're baking together, we go swimming together. So what I'm saying is at every point in time, when you want to do something, whatever you think might miss, please find a strong support system that can play that part for you. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring it. It doesn't mean that you're letting it go. It only means that you're finding the best alternative option that can take care of that. It could even be that you need to shift. If it's that maybe every Saturday morning I like to spend time with my community, but because then I've taken on a new role that will not give me that time, I can decide to move that meeting to some time. I can decide to do it in another way that I still fulfill that part. But don't try to get everything on, because when you try to get everything on, you then miss it. When I was away for my MBA, I tell you, I signed on to Zoom in the morning because my daughter was doing online schooling. They were doing online schooling. I signed on Zoom. The camera is on her. We do the school together till when I'm tired and I leave. I stay with her till the evening. So even though I wasn't physically present, she knew that once she wakes up, she would see me live looking at her. So I've tried to find that balance. So you might never get the balance, which is why I then said work-life balance or life balance itself is a mirage, is a cliche. But when you are intentional about some things, you will think about how to put the next best alternative that would fill in the role for that thing that would ideally miss out when you're taking care of something else. You just have to constantly, harmonize and integrate.
Okay. Great, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Sister Aisha.